Hello teachers, this video is going to demonstrate how you can export your class roster from your Infinite Campus gradebook and get it prepared for import into the Insight360 software. So the first thing you'll need to do is log on to your Infinite Campus account and make sure that you're on the campus instruction beta side. And over here on the left there is a link down in the bottom that's labeled Reports Gradebook. So you will want to click on that, and in the report options you will want to change this to Gradebook Export. And once you're there, the file format should default to comma separated, but if it doesn't, just switch it back to that. And notice over here it will select all of your students and their names and ID numbers. And then on this side you have to remove the check mark from Select All. And then you're going to expand out the quarter one section and we have to go in and select one assignment. If we don't have at least one assignment selected, it won't export the report. So I'm going to select my Unit 1 assignment, and that's all I need to select. And then I'm going to come over here and click on the Generate Report button. It brings up this dialog box asking me do you want to open this with Microsoft Excel? And I do, so I'm going to click OK. And then it should open it up into an Excel file that looks something like this. Let me shrink that. That looks something like this. You'll see that it's got the Unit 1, which is the title to the assignment, and then it's got the point value of 100 points on the first two lines, and then it's got the students' names with their ID number all shoved into this one column. What we need to do first is get rid of these first two rows in Excel because we don't need that. So I'm going to highlight those two rows by clicking over here on the left in the row section and dragging my mouse pointer down until those two rows are highlighted. And then in my Excel I'm going to come over here and select on the delete part, and I'm going to highlight and say I want to delete those sheet rows. Then those rows get deleted. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select column A by hovering my mouse right over the letter A and clicking on it to get it selected. All of that information about my students is all in that one column. If I were to expand this out, you'll see everything's in that one column and nothing is in B, C, or D. I need to have their last name, their first name, and their ID number in separate columns. So I'm going to select column A by clicking and highlighting on it. Then I'm going to come over here to my Data tab on Excel. And once on Excel, I need to select this action that's labeled Text to Columns. So I will select that and I get this dialog box. And I want to make sure that Delimited is selected. And then I will click on Next. And it defaults to Tab, but I want to make sure everything is selected. And I even want to select Other. And then I'm going to type in the pound key, which is the shift of the 3 key on your keyboard. And then I will say Next. And all I have to do at this point is click on Finish. So then you can see in my Excel file that now my last name and first name of my students are all in separate columns. But if you kind of look at this, some of my students must have had some middle names or something in there, or middle initials. Like this student had a middle initial A. This one had a middle initial of 6, okay, for whatever reason. What we need to do is get all of those IDs over into the same column. So I'm going to highlight these IDs, and I'm going to, I'm actually going to Control X to copy them. Then I'm going to click over here and do my Control V to paste it over here. And now I can just go in and delete that column C. I don't need their middle initials for any reason. So after I get the column C highlighted by clicking on it to get it highlighted, I come back over here to my Home tab, and all I have to do is click on Delete, and it deleted that row for me. So now I've got my students' last names, their first names, and their ID numbers in separate columns. So now I can save this file by doing a File and then Save As. And I'm going to browse for a location to save it at, and depending on where you're working. You can either save it on your C drive if you're on an Intelligent Classroom laptop. If you're on a desktop, you might want to save it to your U drive with your data is. I'm going to save mine on my C drive, and I've got a folder there that's called Insight360 that I've already created. And I'm going to call this folder, or this file, my class roster 14-15 SY for school year. If it's for a specific class, like an English class or a language or a history class, you could put that type of information in there. I'm just going to put math and click on save. You'll get this dialog box from Excel saying some features in your workbook might be lost. Do you want to keep using it? And just answer yes. And now you've saved your Excel file in a format that can be imported into Insight360.